Hello everybody, wherever you are tuning in within this world. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for another video of DIY investing. I honestly cannot remember a time where I have been this excited about how the markets are actually performing. Going through the bear markets and having to deal with all of these nasty markets that are just dumping all around you, it seems really discouraging most of the time, especially for new guys getting into this, but it's so crazy how just a couple weeks of bullish markets can completely erase months of bearish consolidation. It's something that is just so amazing to see inside of crypto, and I know it's bringing a lot of people profits. So today we're going to be diving into some updated Ethereum analysis. Ethereum is actually my biggest altcoin position, and it's actually my biggest position entirely. I actually hold more Ethereum right now than I do Bitcoin, and I've told you guys that for a while. Ethereum has been the driver of value inside of the altcoin market, and I highly expect it to continue to do that in this next major bull run. The people that are holding a lot of Ethereum are setting themselves up with one of the most consistent as well as highest returning assets in history. With that being said, if you guys are new and just finding this channel and you find value in what I'm showing you today, always remember to do myself a favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing to this channel for more updates. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you get informed on every update that I post. I post 5 days a week so you guys can stay tuned for more awesome content. I also offer a video course in Signals. The video course is 20 educational videos that teach you guys all of the same strategies that I use to profit inside of crypto. It's a mix between short-term, mid-term, and long-term trading and investing strategies. It's something that's really beneficial for you new guys that are just trying to educate yourself with some top quality content. It's practically all of my knowledge that I've gathered up to this point with investing inside of crypto, and so I know it'll help a lot of you guys out. Now with the signals are a mix between short-term, mid-term, and long-term trading and investing opportunities. I post entries and I post exits, and then you can also copy along with my portfolio management so you know exactly what my long-term portfolio is, so you guys can copy that and actually make those profits alongside with me. I highly recommend you guys check out both of those. It's something that's going to bring you guys a lot of value with education, along with being able to profit with somebody that's been able to do it for a couple years. With all that being said, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate every single one of you. It's amazing to see how quick the crypto markets are growing and just to see how fast this community is growing. A lot of people here making money, and I'm just thankful as hell to have you guys a part of the team. So let's jump right in the video today. Alright guys, to start off this video, we're going to be taking a look at Ethereum. Now, I want to talk about Ethereum because this has been my biggest cryptocurrency position for almost a month's time at this point. Now, this has been one that I've wanted to accumulate a lot of because I do strongly believe that Ethereum is going to continue to lead that altcoin push. Now, I know that we've seen a couple different altcoins kind of break out earlier, like Ethereum Classic and even Dash and some of these other coins, but I still believe that Ethereum is the significant driver of value inside of the altcoin market, and that's exactly why I've updated you guys with charts that shows the Ethereum cycle compared to the altcoin market cap, and why the altcoin market cap follows more closely to Ethereum than any other cryptocurrency for that matter. And the reason for that is just because there's significantly more money that's flooding into Ethereum in this time. Now, I do believe that since Ethereum is the second biggest cryptocurrency by market cap, it's in turn going to be the first altcoin that gets widely adopted as far as institutional money. Now, I know a lot of people will make the argument for XRP, a lot of people will make the argument for Chainlink and all of these other things, but at the end of the day, I really do believe that Ethereum, just because it's going to be more widely trusted in the eyes of everybody else, not only just retail but institutions as well, I think that it's going to be the first one, and the institutional money will come through Ethereum and kind of trickle back down to the rest of the altcoins. Does that mean that XRP can't gather up some of that institutional money? No, of course not, and I think that all of those are going to benefit significantly. I just strongly believe that Ethereum will be the first. Now, Ethereum currently, I accumulated most of my bags for the long term right around this price range here. Right about here. This was where I accumulated all of them. I just kind of averaged in at this low. Now, at this time, there was a lot of fear. I saw a lot of calls that were shooting for more downside, Ethereum all the way down to $50. And to be quite honest, I just didn't see it with the amount of volume that was coming in. I knew that the Bitcoin pair was kind of topping out, but the thing about Ethereum is it had a very strong correction. And I think that the ICO craze was a significant factor in that, because we had this major bubble caused by ICOs. We had so many different new ICOs that were being created, and a lot of money was being made. And all of that money was just in together being programmed on the Ethereum blockchain. And so Ethereum saw the bulk of that value, and that's why we saw such a monumental increase inside of Ethereum. And that was just in the last cycle alone. Now, the thing about it, and the reason why I strongly believe that Ethereum is going to continue to outperform the market, is because this was just one cycle. And I know that you guys understand that, and that's the same thing with every one of these cryptocurrencies, but you got to remember that Ethereum was the best performing altcoin of the last cycle. And so it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me why anybody would try to accumulate a significant majority of something else. I would rather stick to the trend and stick to the best performing assets, because those are going to be the best ones. And that's why I've done that. That's why I hold XRP. That's why I hold so much Ethereum. And I continue to add more Bitcoin as well, because the oldest, best performing assets are going to be the ones that I can trust the most with the least amount of risk. And so taking a look at this, guys, let's actually dive into this analysis. I think I've talked enough about why I am so heavily invested in Ethereum. Now let's actually talk about a technical perspective and why the technicals line up in an even better fashion, and why I think that Ethereum is going to continue to be a very, very big parabolic gainer over this next cycle. Now, if we take a look here, we're going to look at Ethereum and we're going to be comparing it to the original Bitcoin cycle. Now, this Bitcoin cycle takes us back to about 2013, and this was the cycle from 13 to 17 before we broke out, and we all remember what that bull run was like. Now, Bitcoin back in the day follows and shows a significant amount of resemblance between Ethereum, and that's why I think that this market structure is telling an important story that we can kind of look at previous Bitcoin price action, and we can look at it and apply it to Ethereum, and we can see exactly what's coming for Ethereum. Now, what I wanted to show you guys with what happened in the Bitcoin cycle was after the blow off top that we saw. Remember, Bitcoin went from like $2, I believe it was, all the way up to, $1,200 or $1,150. And so that was a huge increase. And this was the top of that cycle. Now, at this time, Mt. Gox hack happened. We could have even gone higher, but that hack caused a lot of fear. And in turn, we went into a bear market, which was lower lows and lower highs. And we consolidated here from top to bottom for almost a year exactly. Now, after that point, we entered this phase right here. Now, this is the part that's important that we're going to be applying to Ethereum. We can see here that Bitcoin went into this accumulation range, and we actually accumulated here for, I think, about 280 days. Yeah, so about 280 days before we actually broke out of this resistance, and we were just consolidating within this rectangle, or this horizontal support and resistance channel. And then what happened was we got that breakout. Now, the reversal pattern that we saw here is what's really important. This is what's called a double bottom formation. And double bottom formations are a reversal pattern. Just like you have a double top pattern, which is actually the exact same thing that we saw at the very top of Bitcoin before we saw this retrace. This is the exact opposite. This is the counter, which is the double bottom reversal pattern. Now, double bottom reversal patterns are an accumulation pattern, and they generally take a lot longer to play out, because during accumulation, you have to take a lot of money to really reaccumulate and build momentum for this new parabolic trend. Whereas during the top of a cycle, during a double top, the market is going parabolic, and so it's like a bubble is being popped, and everything comes crashing down immediately after the selling starts to take over, right? Now, this is the thing that's really interesting with Ethereum and Bitcoin. So this double bottom pattern, the way that it's confirmed is after we break out of the horizontal resistance, which is the top right here. And we see that we got that breakout with this move here in Bitcoin. And that's actually what started this brand new trend. And we're actually going to draw this over here so I can show you guys the way that this trend line kind of worked. Now, this was a pretty strong trend that held us the majority length of time throughout this before that we broke the all-time high, and then we went into new price discovery. Now, this is where we're going to start applying it to Ethereum, because Ethereum is showing the exact same price structure as early day Bitcoin. Now, even though there's going to be some similarities and some differences, the emotional cycle and the psychology of the market cycle stays the same. And that's the most important thing to remember. Don't try and overthink things. Don't try and overcomplicate things. If you see similarities in price structure, chances are it's going to continue to rhyme in the way price reacts in the future, right? Now, taking a look at Ethereum, we're getting almost the exact same price structure. The only major difference is we didn't retest the complete bottom of this low, which was at about $82. Now, the same structure is still true though. We have a low here, we come up, we make a higher low, which would be about right here. Let's drop this to red. and then we come back down once again to retest the previous low as support. That's the second low in our double bottom. And now we are now bouncing back up to go retest the previous resistance. Now, for me personally, guys, I do believe we're going to continue to follow this Bitcoin trend where we actually break outside of this. And I think that this one has a chance to get really parabolic due to the fact this Bitcoin retrace was about 83 or 84% from high to low. And the Ethereum retrace was about 93%. And so this one is significantly more oversold in this time. We went and bottomed at about $80, whereas the last Bitcoin cycle bottomed at about $160, $170. And so there is a little bit of a difference, but because we're so much more oversold, you got to remember that it's going to create an even bigger rise on the upside. So I'm expecting this to get pretty parabolic to the point we actually break out and create our first higher high in the cycle, right? This would confirm a real true higher high because we would break out of the previous resistance of the last high, and this would confirm the new bullish trend. And so with the amount of new volume that's entering Ethereum, now this is where I go to use most of my charts, charts.cointrader.pro, and it takes the volume from CoinMarketCap metrics. Now, a lot of people will mention me in the comments and saying that the volumes are faked, and to be honest, I don't know that. You can't prove that, and so I'm just going to go with what the charts tells me. And to me, this shows a lot more volume. Now, if you look at TradingView charts and different exchange charts, you're going to get a multitude of different variances inside of the volume charts. And the reason for that is because I don't think that exchanges are quite accurate, because you have certain exchanges that outperform others. And you can see that at the last top of the bull cycle, we had a number of exchanges that have practically died at this point and have significantly lower trading volumes per day than anything else. And so I think that it's kind of hard to know exactly what's happening with the volume, but I actually trust CoinMarketCap's volume metrics more than anything else. And so the way that the market structure is looking, we're about to make a complete reversal of the previous trend. And that's exactly what we saw inside of Bitcoin here. After we broke out of the double bottom reversal pattern, we started a brand new uptrend, and we consistently grew and made higher highs and higher lows the whole way up until we broke out of this previous all-time high and went into price discovery. Now, this is where it's going to get really interesting, guys, because this is the part that I'm most excited about inside of Ethereum. If this is actually a double bottom reversal pattern, we're going to see a reversal of this complete bearish trend. And so that means we're about to have a brand new bullish cycle. The thing I've been telling you guys about for a while, and the interesting thing is how all of the different time frames line up with this, but we'll get into that in a second. This is a real deep dive into Ethereum. I wanted to go and explain my complete and total understanding of why I'm so bullish on this, so the people that are genuinely interested and the people that actually want to make these profits can do so. So let's go through here. And let's actually apply this bar chart real quick. And let's show you guys kind of what I'm expecting moving forward. So if we apply the previous cycle to this one currently, I think we're going to see something very similar to this. Now, obviously, the price structure itself can look very different than this, but I would actually think that it would surprise you how identical this is actually going to look about a year from now. Now, the way that the Bitcoin cycle worked is we went into these three different phases. Now, with Ethereum, I do believe that there's enough money inside of Ethereum's market cap that it's almost the exact same size as what Bitcoin was back here. And I do believe that Ethereum is going to continue to follow this previous Bitcoin cycle, and that's why I've had such high price targets with Ethereum being 5, 7,500, 10,000, 15,000, and 20,000. Those are my targets. A lot of people have laughed at me, but this is the exact reason why, and I'm going to break it all down to you in an easy to understand way. Alright guys, now we're going to dive into something that I feel is going to shock you. It's honestly one of the biggest things that I've pointed out inside of my analysis, and I don't think a lot of people have talked about, but this is where cyclical analysis comes and ties all of these cycles together. And this is why we're seeing an exact correlation between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, let's go through here and let's analyze 4 years of Bitcoin consolidation, and let's apply it to 4 years of Ethereum consolidation and see exactly how close the cycles have lined up thus far, and let's apply it to see exactly how it can turn out in future events. Okay, so taking a look at Bitcoin, we're going to analyze the New Year's, because the New Year's seems to be the point of reversals, and so I think that it's going to help us to kind of help determine exactly where these cycles line up. Now, let's go through here and analyze. Let's analyze the 30th of December. That's close enough. It doesn't let me to go to the exact day, so we're just going to point these out to almost the day. Now, this would be the 29th, so there's another day. that we could put in, which was almost the exact bottom. So we basically went from almost the exact top at the new year. A year from that point put us almost at the exact bottom of capitulation. Now, a year from that point puts us at the reversal, right? So we had the exact bottom of capitulation, and then from accumulation to the first impulse and the first reversal of the bearish trend, that puts us a year from that point. And then 4 years would put us at 2017, which takes us into the real parabolic move. And so you can break down these cycles in years of 4. And I think that this is the way it works. You have 1 year, which is the reversal period at the bull run. Then a year from that point puts you at the very bottom of the bearish run. And then a year from that point takes you out of accumulation and into the new bull run. And then a year from that point takes us into the parabolic run. And so let's actually go through here and apply it to Ethereum. Now we can see that the new year of 2018 was almost the exact top for Ethereum as well. We impulsed a little bit higher after the new year, but we can see that the cycles are pretty close still. Now a year from that point would put us at 2019, which January 1st of 2019 puts us at almost the exact bottom of capitulation. And in fact, we would have been at about 150, 160 bucks. Right out of those lows of about $80. Now, a year from that point puts us at the new year of 2020. And that was just what barely happened. And that's actually the exact bottom we saw before we immediately started this brand new impulse inside of Ethereum. Now, this is where it lines up almost identically, guys. And this is exactly why I've bought so much Ethereum in this time. Now, a year from that point puts us at 2021, right? And this is exactly why I believe that this next year is going to be one of steady upward trending, like we saw in the Bitcoin cycle. I think from this year of 2020 until 2021, we're going to continue to sustain an uptrend similar to what we saw back in the day, where Bitcoin breaks out and make higher highs and then continues to ride this trend. And then I think that at 2021, the new year of 2021, I believe that that's where we're actually going to start the real parabolic move. And so we do still have time to accumulate. And I can't stress that enough, that even if Ethereum is valued at, $600, $800, $900 and even above that, it's still below that all-time high mark. And this is what happened to Bitcoin shortly after breaking that all-time high mark. The majority of profits were made after the break of the all-time high mark. And so for you guys that continue to ask me, well, am I too late to invest into this? Am I too late to buy this? No, you're not. And I think that we're still relatively early in the grand scheme of things. Now, when I show you guys my analysis, I always want it to just help inspire and to help inform you guys as much as possible so that you guys can make your own financial decisions and do kind of what you want inside of this market. But the thing is, guys, I've learned how to trade these cycles, and the more I look into these cycles, the more that they all are just so correlated in different ways. Now, Ethereum not only follows Bitcoin by these cyclical time frames, and I do believe that we're going to continue to kind of follow this. My guess is it would behave something like this, and we're going to see an uptrend, a steady growth inside of Ethereum. Something along the lines of this, something like we saw inside of Bitcoin, right? And then we'll break all-time highs around that 2020 mark and we'll go into new price discovery. That's the way that the cycle's working. The fact that it's already so identical to Bitcoin cycle thus far leads me to believe that this is going to continue to do that. And I think that it's more likely and probable that it will do so. Now, with Ethereum and Bitcoin, the comparison goes even deeper. Not only did both of these have a monumental increase in price, but they all followed almost the exact same cycle as far as how parabolic they got. Now, at the top of Bitcoin cycle, we got valued at about $1,150. Now, at the top of Ethereum cycle, we went all the way up to about $1,400. And so not only do they show the same sort of correlations as far as market structure, but they are also following roughly the same trajectory as far as price. And so with Bitcoin following roughly the same trend, and not only is Ethereum following the exact same bearish accumulation, and even just like the new market cycle in general just follows closely to Bitcoin. And so I do believe that because the prices are so correlated between the last Bitcoin cycle and the current Ethereum cycle, I think that that's the exact reason why Ethereum is going to outperform in this next cycle, and we're going to see a very, very parabolic run coming. And that's why my targets moving forward for Ethereum are going to be 5K. So about right there. I got one for 5K. I've got one for 7,500. I've got one for 10K. and then I've got one for 15K, and then I have one for 20K, right? And that's literally the way that I'm going to scale out inside of Ethereum. And you guys are going to call me crazy. Some of you guys will continue to call me crazy. And that's because we are in the disbelief phase of the market cycle. Nobody believes that this stuff is going to go up again. And that's exactly what we've seen. I've been telling you guys this. I've been warning you. I've been telling you guys that it's time to buy crypto. It's time to go all in on these things if there ever was a time to do that. And that's why I've personally done so. My long-term portfolio is seeing intense gains right now. I'm really excited about the way crypto is looking. And honestly, I'm just more excited to share this with you guys. This is a really incredible journey, and that's why I'm here, is to be able to help mentor you guys that are wanting to just kind of hold on this journey. Now, I know I teach a lot of trading strategies, but at the same time, my overall advice that I tell you guys is always to hold the length of the trend. I've still yet to take profits on really anything, and that's because I plan to hold these at least a year. I mean, the way that the cycles are working, I think we're going to have about 2 years of steady continuation. My guess is I'll take profits roughly the end of 2021, and that's the way I'm just going to hold the trend. And so by holding the length of the trend, you're going to make significantly more money. You're not going to risk nearly as much. Don't try and overtrade. Don't try and overcomplicate things. You're not a professional trader. It takes immense amounts of dedication and education to become a professional trader, and I can promise you guys that you're not going to be able to figure out all of that within one bull cycle. Maybe some of you guys can, that you're exceptionally proficient at this and you just catch on really quick, but the majority of you people can't. So the best thing to do in this time is accumulate, be smart, hold the length of the trend, and just any big sort of dip that you see, any 20% dips that you see are a perfect opportunity to be buying. And that's the way that the entire rest of this trend is going to work. Dips are for buying. I do believe that we're going to see a continued uptrend, very similar to kind of how this worked, and we'll see something along the lines of this. So just continue to accumulate, continue to hold the length of that trend. I wanted to share with you guys my Ethereum analysis because this is going to be the driver value with the altcoins. I've said that, I'll say it again. I do strongly believe that since putting most of my Bitcoin into Ethereum, since just buckling down with Ethereum and really going all in with everything that I possibly could at the time, I've been able to outperform my Bitcoin. I've been able to make more money, and I think that that trend is only going to continue to change. I mean, we've already made this much profit, and the Bitcoin pair has yet to even break out. And so once the Ethereum Bitcoin pair breaks out, that's when real alt season is going to take place, and you guys are going to see a ton of money flowing through Ethereum and then going back into the alts. And so I wanted to give the awareness, spread the word of what's taking place so that we're all in the knowing on how to profit together. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Remember, if you found any value in this, always remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Click the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new updates that I post, like the one provided for you in this video. Always remember, I also offer a video course and signals. The video course has 20 educational videos that teach you guys all of the same strategies that I use to profit inside of crypto every day. Not only that, but the signals are a mix of short-term, mid-term, and long-term investments. I take both trades, both long-term holds, and margin trading opportunities. So you guys are definitely going to want to check that out if you want to profit with me. So thank you guys so much for watching. And with that being said, I will catch you in the next video. As always, peace out.